What is this again? Science. Who am I kidding? I'm just doing this the whole time. Hey, Bleezy, how's it going, man? Goodbye. Love that. Hey, Tippy Canoe. What's the plan for Electro? Oh, see, that's the thing. I'm using the cheese method. Reed isn't going to have to hit him. Torch is probably okay in this particular team as well, but, like, Super Saiyan Reed is just not... This is not a problem. I also have energy resistance to blunt some of the feedback for when I have to throw my heavies. What a beautiful champion. Played miniature golf, my Quest 2 in my living room. Wonder if my cat... I'm not entirely sure how to visualize what you just said. But I would not be surprised if your cat's worried about you. This probably will hurt, to be clear, Bleezy, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Hey, Cyber. Whew. You knew one of them was going to crit. Yeah, I hear you, Cyber. Hey, easy. Yeah, turning Reed into Void is pretty fun. Beautiful. Good job, Benny boy. Is there a skill counter for Electro? Yeah, there are definitely plenty of skill counters for Electro, but the question, Bleezy and I talked about this in comments elsewhere, is basically, is there a cut or is there a science answer that actually plays into the node? And there are not many. Um, leaving out Quake because she basically cheats. I do think Reed is probably the best with this setup. You might be able to get enough gamma with Overseer to get the disorient up, and that could do it. Scorpion sounds good without the team, just leaning heavily on the red numbers. But even with Scorpion, I would recommend bringing like Reed and She-Hulk on the team so you're getting more power stings without having to hit the opponent. But Electro's tough. It's getting looked at. Because he falls into a category of champion that just was not a problem at all, really, in Cav EQ, because so many of the people playing Cav EQ were Thronebreaker or Paragon. But the higher tuning for Thronebreaker EQ, he's suddenly a very, very real problem. So yeah, that has been heard. Don't worry. Got Carl, but he came with the price of 100 extra SIGs for Yondu. I definitely don't pity you that. Yondu's SIG is actually pretty good. But I'm glad you got Carl. That's awesome. The extra block proficiency on Reed is just so good. Is that how you're supposed to play Thing in general questing? I think so. It's important to note that the Torch synergy is really, really good for Thing. Because it allows him to ramp without specials. You just keep parrying. And then the full Fantastic Four for him doubles his rock stat gain, which is also very good. But basically what I did there is how I tend to play Thing even without these synergies. Hey William, how's it going? Took my Punisher 2099 to rank 3 today. Like him even more. Can be kind of boring, but he's very effective. I agree. I do like him. My favorite way to run Punisher personally is obviously with Captain America. That's the obvious one. But I also like bringing Cosmic Ghost Rider. Not because I particularly like Cosmic Ghost Rider, but it both gives Cap the armor break and gives Punisher the Fury on the heavy. I don't like using the heavy with him normally because you're spending a full 25 battery charges just for a stun. It does not feel worth it most of the time. But if you're doing that and you're getting a stun and a fury, then I'm more interested. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Sap, how's it going? I think Reed is probably the best. How many times have I said that? A fair number. Not gonna lie. But he good. Hoping some birthday luck gives me Mantis. Wait, did I? Yeah. Mantis and or Spidey Supreme on Friday. Nice. Wish you luck, Saraghost, and in case I'm not streaming then, happy early birthday. Excuse me. Yondu Sig is decent, but not for a price of 75k shards. I mean, if you run an equity, I actually think it might be worth that. It's a really good Sig. But I understand it wasn't what you're going for, and so I'm not going to talk you into that. I got so many SIGs on champions I was not actively targeting, and I probably will continue to do so as I try and hunt down Spot Natuma. Thank you, Cyber. Invisible Woman tune-up would be great. The problem with her is she's just super binary. And the other problem with her is her synergies. because there have been so many that the like trying to get her there that the aggregate web of them is really dangerous. And she has like her abilities are so strong. She effectively has temporary HP and a really strong dash back without dex because you can turn off dex. And she has super high damage when she's ramped, right? Like I have a friend in SSX, or I guess he's on a break at the moment, but a friend who was in SSX until very recently, who had a rank 4 invisible woman, and he was just dominating with her in Battlegrounds. The problem with her is the delta between when something goes slightly wrong and when it's going perfectly. It's just very difficult to change that subtly. I have some ideas for how to do it, but the problem is that my favorite fix for her, basically giving her an Elsa style free miss without unpausing invisibility every X seconds, might be too much with her synergies. You would have to think very carefully about it. I would love to test it, but I've got a few other buffs, reworks, and ideas in the chamber first. Took about 70% of Reed's health pool. That makes sense. I definitely would have lost more if that last heavy didn't finish him. So I just don't know how to play her. I mean, she's very difficult to play because the margin for error is just extremely tricky. This has Rich Get Richer. I'll play her a bit on the next run through because I'm going to use Reed here. But then on the path, I'll play some Invisible Woman after this. I've been meaning to take her up just to have all of the Fantastic Four at rank 3 or above. Alright, please throw this. I would like the passive. Thank you. Throw. Thank you. I love Super Saiyan Reed so much. Was that 20 hits? 23. But that's the thing, the Dragon Man synergy is probably too much in her base kit, because that's the one that lets her keep the fragilities, right? People love saying just put X synergy in the base kit, but the thing is you have to keep in mind there's a difference between how good something is when you have to bring another champion and how good it is when you can just hold on to it. Yeah, retain 40% of fragility debuffs on the opponent. Maybe 40% is low enough to be okay, but my instinct is that it would probably make more sense for her to have something like 20% and then give her like an Elsa style free miss every once in a while and have the Dragon Man synergy just boost how much she keeps. But probably not to 40, maybe only to like 30 because then you have the added security. Like I would like to see how that works, but some of the other synergies might need tuning as well. It's definitely possible. Like it's on my list of things I would like to get to. Yeah, I mean that's what it feels like to me, Cyber. He's just so good. Okay, well I'm not using Sue for this man thing, so we'll try that for the next one. I agree on the symbiote tag actually. That would be a nice one. Definitely don't love getting hit. What is this, Plagued Mine? I should have read the mode. Yep, Plagued Mine. I do enjoy Thing. He's not as slow as people say he is. Obviously, there are mitigating factors here. I tried long shot against Zane yet? I have not, but that does sound interesting, yeah. They are really good, Cyber. We're probably also never doing it again. Because that many special effects are just, oh, it's a very, very annoying system. Alright, well, we had the synergy there. I really should not be trying to play Sue while a little bit tipsy, let's be honest. Yeah, spoiler alert. Got some bourbon over here. Not bad for what I think is still a rank 1. Hey, Rye, how's it going? Welcome, Carl. Is she still a rank 1? Yeah. Thanks, Pleasy. I thought I was gonna lose the invisibility a lot more times than that. That should not be happening. Venompool's hit stun is so busted right now. I've had the AI decks out of it so many times. Like, it's not a good thing that I was able to resist that. I'd much rather have taken the hit. The extra block proficiency for Reed really is nice. I know I already said that once, but it just adds up with how tanky he is otherwise. Ooh, She-Hulk time. Doesn't really matter. No, too long. Actually good to let the Furies fall off from time to time, though. There we go. Still Reed. But these shocks probably are going to be annoying. Thing could be very good, of course. The problem with Thing is that we won't remove the armor ups at all, and his crit rate isn't very high, and then it's just very boring. I'm amazed I haven't crit more. This is odd. There we go. There's one. Agreed, easy. I really like her animations. Yeah, why not? We'll do it once. Just the initial charge? Yeah. It would be very, very annoying otherwise. Yeah, that one's very fun too, Blazy. so I don't blame you. We use a special 2 on caps. Hey, Joey. Welcome. That was unfortunate. Bro. Alright. Guess we're not getting the careful study there. Ooh, that prowess is dangerous. Come on, buddy, throw. Nope. Thank you for the evade read. I very much appreciate you. I deserve to get wrecked there. I mean, at least prowess doesn't boost the incinerates, but woof, I played that horribly. Okay, one down. Which one is this? Mutant. Okay. And the boss is Juggernaut. Okay, we're leaving She-Hulk in. I don't necessarily need read. If it was level up, I'd just take him up now. Maybe I want to play with somebody else today. Yeah, let's use Storm. I haven't done that in a while. Oh, right, and the read synergy. That'll be fun. Yeah, B. My Section 2 path's done, thank you. We'll just ignore the fact that most of my Section 1 path was taken by somebody else. Gross. Whatever, we're not using him after this. Gets us closer to a special 2. Come on. Bro. Thank you. Not hitting your block. It will poison me. I know. Mangog is interesting. I think I'm just gonna nuke him. I haven't done this in a while. Nope. Always go later. Always go later. That's fine. Cable did great. Dislike the mutant chapter? Anything in particular? Friendly reminder, B's an officer. Yeah, well, there are two kinds of officers out there, Usafa. Those that set an example in AQ, and those that don't. I have historically tended more towards the latter category, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, Boris. Not hitting your block, you dumb jerk. One hit into block is always instant poison. Amen. If any of you out there like using Claire, thank Boris. He helped me find a bug in Planetary Endurance. Should be fixed before the season starts, but would have been ugly. Ever had an opponent throw their specials while they're rooted playing Spidey Supreme? I feel for you, but that's also hilarious because like the community, myself included, is so often. It'd be great if opponents just threw specials more often. Not then, not then. Yeah, exactly, Paul. Oh, you jerk. Speaking of jerks. Wow. Look at this guy. Yeah, I'll take it. For Biohazard, there are not that many mutant choices without synergies. I mean, there are, because the other thing that the global does is it gives you 90% resistance. So you literally just use any mutant and throw specials right away, and it removes the bleeds. Um, I think the buff profile's fine. But yeah, it's a lot easier if you have the horseman thing going. Just knew where to direct the info. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense, Paul. And she should be good. You weren't wrong. She was just having some troubles. It probably would have been a problem for Venompool as well if anybody was trying him. Because he obviously gets around the whole nullify immune thing, given that Omnom is not a nullify, but I think the flourish would have stuck around for him too. I didn't actually test that. I was pretty sure. Woo! Hmm, that's right. Okay, that was fun. Yeah, what is it, Boris? I gotta be honest. There's probably a limited amount of things I can fix in a single month. I have already um, run the QA person attached to me for this month pretty hard. But yeah, well, I'll chase down whatever I can. Oh, yeah, that one I've actually already fixed, Boris. So good news. Yeah, it was pointed out to me, whoops, in the CCP. I think Cat Murdoch called it out with Karnak. Oh, I was forgot to look at his freaking charges. Just die, please. Hey, Zach. This Nova was the toughest path for you. Have you tried having a rank 4 Apocalypse? I'm sorry, that's very unhelpful. Because Spidey's gonna look exactly the same. I'm just not going to use mediums. Sauron's not great, but he works for biohazard nodes? Agreed. Me. I'm not going to use mediums. Me. Opens the fight with a freaking medium. That's fine. It'll be okay from here. Does it again. It's just so tempting when he throws a heavy, you know? You're like, ooh, this is my shot. That's an opening. Alright, come on, buddy. Do your thing. Hey, Clash, how's it going? It's because the Nova crashed my game twice. Sorry to hear that, man. Forgot these specials trigger through block and they really hurt. Yes, they do. Not wrong. Yeah, we're gonna do the cable thing again. Toad's pretty annoying. Need to be careful about making sure we push him to special 2. Perfect. Oops. That's gonna sting. We weren't using cable again. Would neutralize prevent Spidey Supreme's buff? It's not supposed to. I've seen a bug that it actually is. Which I forgot to look into today. Alright, I'll do that tomorrow. I was focused on a live bug today. But long term, they are not supposed to. Because his ability page specifically says that, what is it? That the ability accuracy of his buffs cannot be modified. Bro. Alright, that's fine. We're not pausing our prowess. Let's go. Bring it on, Brock. I would love it if this finished it, but I don't think it's... Haha! Reverse jinxed myself. Fixing bugs, not only working on champs. Freaking knew that would draw you out of the woodwork near. So I was actually thinking about this. I really stand by the first name thing. They're not our buddies, but I still like humanizing them, you know? Especially playing more Midnight Suns. But yeah, so Boris, to answer you, basically, oh my god, I almost just said the name of my next character out loud on stream. I gotta be careful with the bourbon. So after finishing up Redacted, I'm actually on a bit of a break in between characters. was thinking I call Reed Reed all the time. Right, because it sounds kind of silly to call him Mr. Fantastic all the time when you know his name is Reed, right? So after my first two characters, I'm on a bit of a break, and one of the things I'm doing with that is that I've explained in some videos before and in my interview with Vega that my team, the character design team, is the one in charge of coding more than just characters. Like, we code our own characters through the proprietary language. Full credit to the very talented engineers who make sure that what we code actually does what we want it to. It's not like we're in there doing the real nitty gritty, but we code the logic of our characters, but also things like buffs. Mainly those two things, but that is most of the game, right? Characters, buffs, and relics is most of what y'all interact with. And so there is one of us basically on call to handle the biggest bug fixes that come in from the forums and the CCP. And we kind of rotate on a month to month basis. And this month is my turn. I'm beginning to change my mind. I appreciate it. I brought in Ranger for that. Oh, I don't blame you. Confirmed. Nice, Robert. I'm glad you're liking the Tumo. Can Warlock's virus shut down Carl's healing? Yeah, it should work really great. So what you're saying is you get grunt work this month? A little bit, yeah. But I'm also I've got some other projects that I can't really talk about for a while that I'll be doing in the downtime between characters. But yeah, somebody's got to do the bug fix work, and I don't hate it. I'm definitely work. It feels more like work than last month did. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm learning a lot very quickly about our processes, which is something I wanted to do anyway because I was the rookie on the team. So like I'm not begrudging this time at all. Thanks, dear. That's something that keeps me going, I'm not gonna lie. Like, just knowing that every bug I fix, almost every bug I fix, is something that really was bugging someone. Some of them are probably for my benefit. Jerk. I'm glad we still had our shocks up. That was cutting it a bit close. Gorgeous. I'm confused at the side of the Maker. I need to do more research. Is basically Evil Reed from the Ultimates universe, the same universe where Miles Morales comes from. He's an interesting character. Hasn't been used a ton since Secret Wars, I don't think, but a few times. It is possible that I would call dibs on him, but I would need to do more reading, like if he ever came to the game, of course. Would definitely want to do research. And that, of course, assumes that my boss doesn't claim him, because my boss is the one who built all of the Fantastic Four, and if anyone has dibs on the Maker, he does. Would I get into a lot of trouble? Probably not a lot of trouble. Um, Given the circumstances this time, I would probably be asked to stream less while imbibing. Whoops. But I don't think they'd be that mad at me. Um, at this point, I want to say specifically, because I think the further out we are, the less chill it would be. I think it would especially be less of a problem now that we've like really had some time to be hyped up about Cassie and Ant-Man, um, oh, nice work. I will for sure keep an eye out for that. That's on my list of events to get to soon. Good to know. I was gonna read it anyway, but I'm even more motivated now. But yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing is if I accidentally let something slip early, I would of course get a mild dude, come on. Like at minimum, because I would deserve it. I don't think I would be in like trouble with a capital T, but it would definitely be more of a dude come on if it got in the way of hyping up somebody else. And that is, or at least I think it would, because that's my biggest fear is taking away from the spotlight um, that the work my colleagues do deserves, right? Because Cassie and Ant-Man are very cool. Hey, Clown, how's it going, man? We already know who I'm building with the champion reveals. A lot of you are very confident. I also think it's interesting that a lot of you are very confident it's one of the two projected characters and not the other. I'm not really sure what to do with that information. Rhymes with P, that stands for pool. Thank you, Carl. It's I haven't thought about that song in a while. Well, that worked out well. Oops. Whatever, the power stings don't matter. Because that. Um, the maker looks like Professor X. Um, Professor X's House of X design is also from a Hickman run, so it's not that surprising. Hickman likes his silver helmets and his black bodysuits. Uncle Ben from the 615 universe? Alright, off to Google I go this time. The Uncle Beniverse. What the heck? Something tells me that might not translate well to the game. Gotcha, Chris. That makes sense with what I've seen of the character. Like, he's instantly at least moderately interesting, right? Because the idea of evil Reed Richards is just scary. Why did that She-Hulk fight go so quick? Because I believe Power Stings do extra damage. And I have the Reed synergy. Where is it? Past the... Well, not past the buck. That's going to sting. There it is. Yeah, potency and Power Sting effects are increased by 300%. So just boom. Take care, Nier. Good luck. My original plans have gone south. Sorry to hear that, man. But I look forward to either discussing it with you or seeing what you pick. Did Kabam tell me the big secret? What's the big secret? You mean how the servers run on the Salt of forum posts, or the other one? I don't really know where you're going, honestly. I really wish her heavy had even the slightest bit of forward translation. It is so useless when you're trying to counter anything. All pixels building the game. Yeah, that was inappropriate, Tippy Canoe. Let's not do that. Blame nerd for that one. Hey, Shotrigal. I think the only class I'd have really struggled to pick would have been Mutant. Yeah, I mean, I think that was where I was at first, obviously. I became pretty at peace with House of X just because of how well he ties into everything else I do. So I think that would have been okay with me. Skill would have been my biggest issue, because I don't think I'd really make use of a rank 5 Nick. But we already had a rank 5 Valkyrie in my battle group. And I love Killmonger, but it would have been really hard for me to bite that particular bullet for prestige. Obviously, it didn't end up happening. So happy enough with that. Thank you for clarifying for us. It's funnier than it should be to me. Please don't associate me with that other joke. Whoop! Yeah, I deserved that. I really thought that was a parry, but nope, double medium. Alright, well, this is gonna hurt. Alright, please throw. Sir. Sir. Oh, man, I thought that might hit. That's fine. I earned that one. Yeah, throw this to make sure it goes to the special 2, and then we can ban, or... Hey, that's the problem. Hey, Lags, how's it going? I get plenty of use from a rank 5 Nick. I know work, and it makes me feel guilty saying that, but I also know it's true. Yeah, I knew that would cost me a detonation, but this is just going too slow. I'll take it. Not really planning on using cable again after this. Alright, come on, buddy. Thank you. Would love to see more Alpha Flight and New Mutants in the game. I agree with you there. Cannonball is one that's made my personal list recently. Because he was also in Hickman's New Avengers. And then you have a little bit of a synergy web there, because obviously Gladiator is going to be coming to the game. Gladiator can have a synergy with Smasher. Smasher can have a synergy with Cannonball. Cannonball can have a synergy with Sunspot. And just boom, now we got teams going. That kind of stuff I enjoy. I think that is Twitter confirmation. Yeah, I haven't seen it from anybody else. Probably because he's big, fancy 100K subs guy. Joe Fixit block damage. Death and taxes. This X really is the land of misfit toys. See, that's the thing is I might have, like, I still would have done Nick if his prestige was even decent work. And I don't know, maybe I still would have done it, right? I just wouldn't have been happy about it. Like, by the time I actually finished EOP, skill was the gem I wanted the least, even above Mutant. Just because I didn't want the choice. Hey, Martin. Nope, not even that. Ah. That'll do. Going down a rabbit hole of characters powered up to their absolute limits. Yeah, I've seen the Allfather Ultron thing. It's part of Zane's storyline, right? You took Kitty to rank 5 and you don't feel like you know how to play her? Boris! I mean, she's not the worst. She has the prestige, obviously. She can be on defense in Battlegrounds, even if you're not confident with her. But that surprises me, my friend. Alright, well, good luck to you in mastering her. That is a bold choice. Ugh, I don't know why I did a medium there. It's so hard for me in my head to actually go light heavy, even if I know it's a good idea. Sir? Ah, my kingdom, my kingdom, my kingdom for a crit. At least her lights have good reach. I can play her and do well, nowhere near fast in Battlegrounds as see from friends. Yeah, she definitely has a learning curve. Yeah, that's kind of where I personally am, Martin. I don't really enjoy playing Kitty, and so I've never really felt motivated to get better with her. And if you're not particularly good with her, I don't think she's worth putting in a deck, and she's definitely not worth using in war. So that's kind of where I am. Ant-Man Stained Legacy. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that's referring to, but if you're not aware, Hank Pym has done some messed up stuff throughout various continuities. And so my guess would be that. being rank 5 is a big motivation to learn. You're not wrong. That's right, this is the skill one. What do you do again? That's right. Surfer works, but I just used Gallon because I hate fighting Guillotine 99. I'll take one of those, and one of those, and one of those. Isn't Ant-Man Ant-Man because he was a thief? I mean, that's Scott Lang, but not Hank Pym. And I don't... Like, Ant-Man's normally portrayed as more of like a white hat style thief. So I don't... Like, Scott Lang in the MCU in particular is not someone that I would refer to as having a stained legacy. I'm actually not super familiar with the comics, so I'm not entirely sure the nature of his crime there. But if it's at all similar, I would think it has more to do with Hank. You know, given that he created Ultron and all that. Right, right. That's true. I forgot about that clown. That makes a little bit less sense to me from a legacy perspective, but it is absolutely a thing. Ancient Venom. Yep, that'll do it. Man. Dark Sentry. Is that not just Void? Unless you love to play Tiger and the synergy is good. I'll grant you that. Black Panther's so fun. That was on me. Gross. Speaking of problematic backstories, I was surprised they introduced Star Fox. Yeah, I'm interested may be the wrong word, but I'm very curious how they handle that going forward. Sir. Okay, I am gonna report that one pretty quick. Just because a couple of those blocks were intended to be dexes. I'm not sure what you mean, Clown. Like, I get that they made a She-Hulk TV show, but there hasn't been a season 2 yet, so I'm not really following you. 616 is the main Earth. 616 is the main comics continuity. It is officially, from the comics perspective, not the main MCU continuity, despite what Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness said, which is why Iman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel, texted Kevin Feige and basically complained to him about it, which just makes me love her forever. She-Hulk defended Star Fox in a sexual assault case. That's right. Yes, I would love to never, ever see that on the screen. Yeah. Gross, gross, gross. Hey, Luke. Love this. This is my idea of a good time right here. Oh, gross. Very gross. What did you come into this time? I don't build to 15 with OGBP. Not to the expense of the rest of the fight, Luke. I do if I can, but like that's why I said gross, and that's why I said love this, because his AI wasn't playing into it. And if you insist on building to 15, then you can get yourself into some trouble and you can end up like basically just wasting power doing so. I will go for it, but, and this is probably with the Battlegrounds experience talking, I will not insist on it. Did they change the borders of 5 stars to be flames? There's always been a VFX associated with it, Clown. I hadn't noticed a change. I build to 15, then throw heavy. But that's the thing. If you use the heavy, then you're actually not getting as much time in Panther's Might. I prefer using this. And the other thing is that you're definitely taking longer because you use the heavy, but like, yeah. I think that does end up costing you, but the biggest thing is that you're losing time in Panther's Might. Because Panther's Might is 3 seconds per charge consumed if you do it via the heavy, and 5 per charge on the special one. I missed stuff. The reason I hadn't missed it, funnily enough, is actually because of a visual bug where you would scroll through your roster, um, especially in like arena or whatever, and I would see the flame VFX on top of like the stuff at the top of the screen, even when the champions were behind it. And so that's the main reason I know. You already have a special too, though. Yeah, but if the special 2 doesn't finish against a lot of opponents, I just think that it's easy to end up actually going slower that way. Oh, wow. One more hit. Yeah, because the special 2 is only the precisions, right? Or the Panther's Might is the precisions, right? Yeah, you get the cruelties regardless. Those don't stop. And so, like, if your plan for the fight is to throw a big special 2, with the guaranteed crits, then getting to 15 doesn't actually help. Yeah. I don't know. In Battlegrounds, it's usually like 2 lights, 2 lights, full combo, special 1, And the reason I do that is because most of the time when I'm using Black Panther, I'm not using him as a hit monkey substitute. He's not a good hit monkey substitute. I'm using him for ability accuracy reduction. And that particular rotation has served me very, very well for that purpose. That's kind of where I'm coming from there. Not sure if it's intended, but when you fight as Omega Red and use a striker from relics, you lose your spore even when the striker's close. That is intended, yeah. That was basically a toss-up that we had to that was a call that we had to make. Was our effects paused during strikers, and we ultimately decided it was more effort than it was worth, and there were too many potential knock-ons. As a player, I'm very intercept heavy. So am I, which is why I do exactly that. Um, like, I'm curious, when you use Black Panther, are you finding that normally when you do that, the special 2 ends it, or are you then upkeeping it after the special 2? Because if you're having to upkeep it after the special 2, then I don't see an advantage doing it that way. To me, that sounds like your ability accuracy reduction is coming online later, and it's not lasting as long if the AI doesn't cooperate. So I'm not sure I'm seeing the upside. Is Absorbing Man worth taking up over Doom for General Questing, Alliance Quest, and Battlegrounds? It's a good question. I think I would probably still say no. Because it's still Doom, right? Doom is the best Mystic in the game because he's overpowered. He has an incredibly strong kit, both for buff control and power control, and he is overtuned. I've heard arguments that Absorbing Man is overtuned, and we could potentially have that conversation, but Doom is objectively, inarguably overtuned. The thing is that Absorbing Man can heal. And so your general questing and alliance quest question is what's giving me pause. Because Absorbing Man does have better sustainability if you're very good with him. If you are not, then trying to force Absorbing Man into matchups that he is not specifically targeting and trying to do so well enough to specifically get the healing online is probably just going to get uh, you in trouble. And then I would just rank Doom. Depends on the fight. Usually I'm able to land the intercepts and gets to 15, throw a special one, then throw a special two. Well, if you're throwing the special one and then throwing the special two, then what's the difference? Because I did say I get to 15 if I can. But that's the thing is that normally I'm getting to 15 very, very quickly. I specifically called out that Hulk fight as an aberration. Because if you do the medium, light, light, back, medium, light, light, back, medium, light, 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 yeah, medium, light, 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 medium, then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 precisions has pretty much always been enough for me. Hold on, I'm gonna run some math real quick. Okay, so you get what? 425 from the precision mastery, if I'm remembering correctly. 425. I'm not doing this as a way of trying to disagree with you. Look, I'm really trying to look into the math, and see what I'm leaving on the table. So 425 plus 658 is going to be his base crit rate. That's precision, plus what he has in his kit is a rank 4, because that's what I'm used to. Plus 103. 0.66 times 12. And you do that versus, okay, so we're looking at 2637 versus 2326. Let me do a quick calculation. If I assume a rank 4 opponent, so 140 challenge rating, then 2320, it's 2327 realistically. And then, so that is a 54% crit rate versus a 51% crit rate. Personally, I will take that trade for getting the ability accuracy reduction online sooner and being that much safer against an I-bomb or potentially a thing if I'm doing that. That's an interesting question. You don't have Hitmonkey, so you may be using him slightly incorrectly. I mean, I'm glad it's working for you. I'm trying to talk through this because I do find the conversation interesting. No Hitmonkey substitutes. Coming from the Stealth Spidey main nerd. Those two are very, very similar in DPS. Right, but that is specifically my question, Luke, is if you don't throw the special one because you wait till 15 and then you throw the special 2, does the special 2 kill? Because my suspicion is more often than not, no. And if the special 2 isn't killing, then that's probably like 10 more potential defensive ability triggers that I've given my opponent without shutting them down completely. And that's why if the rotation I'm used to is getting me to 12 precisions, I'll throw the special one right away there. Yeah, because you said SIG 80. What is the reduction at SIG 80? Let me check that out specifically. 7.4. Okay, so yours caps at 85%. And your shrug is not very common. I can shrug literally every second. And I get the full thing. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess just maybe something to consider as he naturally gains more SIGs. Good discussion. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, 6 seconds isn't terrible, but it's not good either. Do need to rank 4 stealthy. Kind of surprised you haven't thus far, man. Oh, that math conversation really bored a lot of people. Good lord, I lost so many people in the last 10 minutes. Sorry. I'm on the spectrum, and sometimes I will go down a rabbit hole, thank you. Wow. This jerk. He was just a midnight call. Nah, I know I'm like this. It's okay. Looking for raw damage in quick fights while I'm looking for the consistency. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I also like the damage, but for me, like, because he's not as high damage as some other options I could be using, if I'm drafting him, it's for the ability accuracy reduction first. I think I have 12 rank 4s on my deck. Nice, man. No worries, Luke. This is who I am. Am I able to see DMF's messages? Who is DMF? I'm not sure at this point, Paul. Oh, you know what? Is this, hold on. What? Cream cheese, I have no idea why it was hiding you. So YouTube has a difference between top chat and live chat on the studio settings, and top chat is the default setting. I have to intentionally move it over to live chat because live chat is all messages, top chat filters out quote potential spam. And you've been in my chats for so long. I have no idea why it was filtering you out. I'm a little annoyed on your behalf. I'm sorry, man. How's it going? Wish list of characters I'd want to create in the game. Blue Marvel is very high up there. Honestly, White Tiger is too. There is a part of me that is actually glad she lost, specifically because it increases my odds of being able to design her later. Yeah, that totally makes sense, Luke. Oh, yeah. No, I know, Boris. And that's probably because basically what's happening is that Omega Red's code is specifically comparing Omega Red to the opponent. So spores fall off during the striker animation because Omega Red is not near the opponent. Whereas Mephisto is looking for how far away is my opponent? Not how far away is Omega Red, how far away is my opponent? And if they are within this, then I'm dealing damage. And I realize that sounds like an incredibly nitpicky distinction, but that is, I'm pretty sure, what's happening in the code. Mephisto just cares that somebody is close to him. If somebody is close to me, I'm lighting them on fire. And so that's basically the problem. Yeah, I hear you, nerd. I think Blade's going up next for me, and then Korg out of skill. That doesn't mean they'll be my next two, but we'll see. Hey, Wolf. Yeah, it's a good question for sure, Boris. See, that is my perfect rotation. And that works a lot in Battlegrounds. Okay, I thought I remembered it getting to 15. I tried to block there. That was very annoying. Jerk. But yeah, that is my normal rotation for getting to the special one. It works pretty well. Hold Yondu, and I don't have Nimrod or Omega Sentinel. Is he rank 3 worthy? I mean, he's definitely not an absolute top tier tech champion, but he can very much put in work. His healing control is really good. He can control armors through blocks, kind of like Null. His bleeds are okay. His Furies are a lot better now than they used to be. And his weakness is actually very good. That's his SIG, and it kind of requires investment to be special. So if he's not awakened or if he doesn't have high sig, then just don't worry about it. But I do actually think Yondu is pretty darn good. Yes, his prowess removal is really solid as well. Cat Murdoch's done some good stuff with him. Okay, that one is going in the inputs.
Whoops, that's on me. The first one I knew was coming, and I adapted to it. The second one I got a bit overzealous. Oh, Mysterio, you jerk. There, I was hoping to specifically shrug the power drain and hit into him. I think the risk was a fair one,
but I messed up the execution. Yeah, no, that makes sense, Luke. Yondu definitely can do work for you. Oh man, I was gonna report that one. Dang it. It happens. I have not noticed that with Masacre. I'm still using him, pretty reliably in AQ. Screw you. Yeah, it's still been working pretty well for me. Maybe the timing has changed very slightly in a way that catches you and not me. I don't know. Hey, Jackson, having trouble blocking, not working. Yeah, I think at this point, whatever issues are on the beta, we're trying to fix, but it's not really a beta anymore. Like, I don't even have the option. I think we're not supporting the old system anymore. If you're not on the beta, you should be. If you are on the beta and you're having problems, try to document it in particular and encourage other YouTubers, people who are in the CCP, to both make sure that they are using the input beta and are reporting issues whenever they can. It's difficult to do in Battlegrounds. I'm well aware. I consider it functionally impossible to do in Battlegrounds. But in War or EQ or anywhere else, if they're having an input issue, just be on them to submit it. Because, and this is not me throwing shade at them, like, it is a tough habit. Um, to acquire if you're not used to it. But it's really the path forward at this point. Like I said, Doom is overtuned. That's all. Jabari in the Hunt has one of the highest crit rates in the entire game. It's over 80%. And Doom is just like, haha. Hey, Snoops. You can report in BGs. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's particularly feasible, because you don't really have the end fight screen, right? It just takes you back. Do I think Shuri needs a little bit of help? Uh, Not in sealing. I can definitely see the argument. Oh man, that's what I should have. I was like, there's some reason that I feel like I should be waiting out the aura. It's because I lost my fury. That's on me. I think that her floor could potentially come up. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know, Luke. The other thing is that like that particular AI doesn't always work the same on every opponent. Like Valkyrie versus Doom is so stressful. I remember I said Killmonger has the second highest crit resist after Doom, and he's got like, yeah, Doom has 35%. Killmonger and Absorbing Man and somebody else I'm forgetting off the top of my head right now have 20. Rintra. I mean, Rintra cheats because he gets up to 35, which is honestly just excessive. If you're going to leave the crit resistance per mystical charge, his base should probably be like 0 or 5, let's be real, but a bit late for that. If you pause, you can report an issue. Yeah, and if you pause, you lose, Coat. That's what I mean. Let's see, am I gonna die to Squirrel Girl today? Yep! She always throws that at the worst possible time. Sorry, Luke. Top 3 or 5. So Hercules is the obvious one, right? He's so far beyond everyone else that it's him and then we have the conversations. Ghost is too much. My personal fix is I don't think she should get the Furies when she purifies something. Probably just at all, but they should at least be much, much smaller and not 100% of her base freaking attack. Completely egregious. Quake is a problem. Magic is a problem. Corvus is mainly a problem with power boosts. He might be okay if those were addressed. It's hard to tell. Doom's stats are too high. I don't think the kit is necessarily an issue. It's very, very good, but his stats are too high. Nick is similar. If you're going to release a character who has, at the time, every single piece of utility assigned to that class in one kit, they should not also have by far the highest damage output. Nick is just plain overtuned. If you want that kind of damage output, you should at least have to be in the second life. He's completely ridiculous. I think his base attack should come down, and his bleeds should probably be longer on their base, but do the same damage so that Deep Wounds just does less to juice them. Those are the big ones. Nimrod is close, but his Nimrod and Apocalypse are more a design space issue than a tuning issue. I don't necessarily think they're too strong. They just make it very difficult to build defenders of the class they have an advantage against. And Apocalypse specifically makes it difficult to build balanced mutants. I think Apocalypse would probably be fine if the cable synergy didn't exist. Hmm. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody else out who's bothered me. Magneto. Yes, thank you, Dan. Magneto is stupid. He should just have at least a couple of his abilities completely stripped from his kit. It doesn't make sense how many little pieces of utility he has when most of it is aimed at the class he's supposed to be weak against. Kitty is up there, but Kitty needs, I think, a bit less than a lot of people think. She just needs fewer safeguards. Like her Sig giving her extra power so that you can cheese fights that are supposed to stop her is completely stupid. Yeah, that's what I've said before, Luke, and I'd be fine with that. Yeah, Kitty just has too many guardrails. Like she looks, you read through her and it's like, oh, this is a risky champion. And she is. You can die with her, but like in good hands, she has so few risks that aren't mitigated by other things in her kit or by her synergies. It's egregious. Oh, right. Let me throw a heavy. Before we get to 100. Kingpin? Kingpin probably is, yeah. I think that his synergy with Hood and Joe should probably only have boosted like non-damaging purify chance, if that. He is a bit egregious. And overpower probably shouldn't stack. Honestly. His ceiling is just stupid. Corvus is a problem regardless, but I wouldn't say top 5. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. Like Corvus would still, if I were going to change one thing about Corvus, assuming power backs would be fixed, I think I would just change the fact that he ramps against mutants. He would still be so strong at 3 charges. He doesn't need the 4th. And the fact that he targets Tex is fine, right? Because he's a cosmic. He has a problematic impact on that class, but it makes sense that he ramps against. It makes thematic sense that he ramps against Avengers, and there aren't many of them out there. The evade thing, you can plan around, but like the fact that he ramps against any Avenger, anyone with evade, anyone with auto block, and then a full third of the game on top of that, any tech or mutant, is just stupid. I'm going off tonight. Oof. Sorry, Jackson. Yeah, I know there would be backlash for messing with literally any of these cream cheese. That doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. If Corvus surprises you, Walrus, it probably means that you're not playing War at the highest levels. And apologies to you for the accidental shade if you are. But Corvus with recoil masteries, power start 1, and power backs is disgusting. He's the reason that nobody is placing Shuri on defense. Like you have this new interesting tech champion who has a couple defensive tricks. Nobody is placing her because oh look, a Corvus charge. Like it's any new tech or mutant that has defensive tricks is instantly evaluated through the lens of can Corvus ramp? If Corvus can ramp on this, and it doesn't like insta kill anyone else, I'm not placing it. It's kind of how it comes down to. And that's a stupid impact for him to have on a third of the game. Absorbing Man? We'll see. But that's the thing. Absorbing Man is subject to rebalancing, like the official rebalancing process. If he has to come down slightly after balance signed off on him, and after I did my DPS testing and we agreed on our targets and we're like, yeah, he's meeting them, this is about right. If he has to come down slightly, he has to come down slightly. I'm not going to cry about it. And anyone who invested in him is definitely still going to get a good champion at the end of the road. The same way that if we touched any of those others, anybody who still had them would wind up with a good champion. The goal is not to make people not have fun. The goal is balance. And in my opinion, the game is significantly more fun when it is balanced. You're going to have characters that are stronger than others. You always are. But it's an issue of how much. Absorbing Man is not a false flag. No. Because he would be a terrible false flag, right? Like if we go, all right, well, we tuned down Absorbing Man, so now we can hit Herc. For one thing, we are allowed to hit Herc. I've been over this before. It's in the terms of service. We could definitely hold it in court if anyone wanted to go there. But if we would never use Absorbing Man as an excuse to do that because of what I just said. Absorbing Man is subject to the official rebalancing process. Herc would be us going outside of that and saying, hey, this is too egregious for the health of the game. We're changing something. That's just different. The community would never allow us to use one as a precedent for the other. Yeah, that makes sense, Luke, that Corvus still does well without recoil. I like these talks. I appreciate it, Dan. I do think removing power back boosts entirely from the game would be good, Yuki. I would want to do a significant balance pass on the war map. I don't think that it would need to change as much as some people do. I think that power back boosts are very often a crutch more than they are a necessity. But I do think that you would at least want to take a look, make sure there's nothing that we as a community are relying on too much there. And what's the other thing? You would want a planning period. Because that's the thing, is that even if power backs are a crutch, even if me saying that is objectively true, that means that the current ecosystem for Alliance War is relying on that crutch. People being able to plan in their breaks at war are relying on that crutch. So taking that crutch away would require more time for officers to achieve similar results. And that's just objectively true. So as much as I hate power back boosts, war needs to change first. What did I eat today? What did I eat today? I had canes for lunch and Spanish rice for dinner. It's a good day. We'll see, Boris. Part of the reason that I'm so vocal about nerfs is that I don't think just not releasing 7 stars is enough. Because if it's enough, then Ascension has failed, right? We've promised you Ascension to blunt the impact of 7 stars. If just not releasing a 6 star as a 7 star is enough, then that goal will not be met. And the thing is that even if we weren't doing Ascension, how long would it be until 7 stars got out of range of a 6 star rank 5 Sig 200 Hercules with boosts? Because I think that that time is measured in years, not months. And so I don't think that just not releasing 7 star Hercules is a viable option for balance. And I also think it's not good for the player base. I think that there is so much in Hercules' design that is very cool and interesting and fun. And part of the reason that I get angry about him is that the broken parts of him make it hard for me to enjoy that. It's kind of like somebody made a work of art and then just like scribbled a slur over the top of it to me, because it's like, oh, somebody put real work into this and I can't enjoy it. Like, that's why he bugs me so much. And I would rather the broken parts be taken out, the slur be gotten rid of, right? Edited it out. And then we would still have a work of art. We would still have a powerful champion, probably well above average, that people could enjoy and that we could release as a 7 star and people would be happy to have him. I think that's the better way forward. I would rather have 7 star Hercules in the game and just have him in a state where that makes sense. Yeah, I think the Mole Man example is not making the point that you think it's making, Jackson. Because there were riots, but then we moved on. And Mole Man is still good, and basically everyone who had a rank 3 Mole Man before the nerf still has a rank 3 Mole Man. That's exactly what I think would happen if we nerfed Herc. We would hand out rank down tickets, of course we would. But then everybody would just be like, okay, he's still good though, right? Does anyone think I should rank down my Herc after the nerf? And then a bunch of smart people would say, absolutely not! And we would move on. Oh god, she still had the immunity up. This was dumb. I'm losing the stun. Yeah, exactly. Like, you really love playing Doom. And I know, Work loves playing Nick. I enjoy Apocalypse, right? Like, I enjoy Doom sometimes, myself. I used to be a Ghost main. I used to be a Magic main. They're objectively fun. They're cool designs. I would like them to be in a place where we can keep using them. And yeah, Ininos pointing out that Quake still has use in war. Yeah. The prospect of an ascended 5 star Quake, to me, says that nerfs are the only option, honestly. I know people don't like hearing that. Oh, you jerk. Did he really still have the aura up? Thought it was down. Alright, well, that's clearly on me. Holy hell, how did that make contact? Contact. Excuse me, words are hard. Oh yeah, because I threw it immediately. Yeah, I'm getting earlier and earlier. Don't do that. Nope, I did it again. I'm gonna be embarrassed at how much of this damage is reverb at the end of the fight. The hitbox on that is stupid. Ah. It would be really nice if I could stop messing up the decks. Don't get me wrong, that is 100% my fault. But I really, really hate when heavies hit you while you're dexing. He lost an eye, hasn't he lost enough? No. This is what happens when I read chat during Special 3 animations. Um... Hey, Sonia. You know tons of people who ranked him down? Really, Jackson? You know tons of people who ranked him down and didn't rank him back up? I think I've talked to literally one person, and the only reason they didn't rank him back up was because they ranked, like, I forget, it was like Blade or somebody instead, and then they ranked him later. Yeah, exactly, nerd. That's exactly what I mean. Anything that we would do to Doom would not change how, like, would not change the fact that he's very good. Yeah, because I'm not asking how many people actually, like, used the rank down ticket on Mole Man. Almost everyone did. I'm asking how many people used the rank down ticket on Mole Man and didn't rank him back up within the next two level ups. Because that number is very small. And anybody who moved him down in tier lists, in my opinion, was either overreacting or had him rated too high in the first place because they saw him only as a power back monster with true accuracy, which he never should have been. Like Cloud said, it's a bug correction. Take care, Luke. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing, Coat. I should move on. Okay, Jackson, please don't argue from a point of disingenuity. You're not proving anything when you say that people aren't using Mole Man as much as Hercules. Nobody was using Mole Man as much as Hercules. Like individual people like Nerd use Mole Man all the time, right? But I'm saying like across the community, even in his bugged state, Mole Man was not as dominant as Hercules because again, Hercules is in a class of his own. Comparing people to him is not productive or particularly sincere. There's so many people who use Mole Man all the time. Or Loki has one battle group where they assign like 3 Mole Men of War, or at least did the last 2 seasons for Unsteady Ground. All over the place, man. Herc is a fundamental part of the game. Herc would still be one of the most used champions if he actually required some skill to play. He just wouldn't break things. He wouldn't make designing content almost impossible. He wouldn't allow people to get to war rating number or to what am I saying? To the very top of the war season leaderboard just by using Hercules and invulnerability boosts. Like he's not good for the game. That's a low blow ball. Just to show what would happen on a smaller scale. Again, Jackson, I don't think you're proving the point that you think you're proving. If nerfing Hercules reduces his viability and use and how many people use him as much as fixing Mole Man did for him, he will still be one of the most popular and dominant characters in the entire game, and that will be a success. I wasn't even ready to dex that one. It was just already in my dash package, sadly. That unblockable really needs to be longer. Oh my god, can you stop throwing that as soon as I enter the dash back? If that's true, Jackson, if everybody in your alliance and you personally were using Mole Man before the fix and you aren't now, then I think that's your mistake. I know that's kind of blunt and a little bit harsh, but I stand by it. Mole Man is still very good. Nice, Sonia. Congrats. Hey, Aiden. Congrats on that poll. I've been going for 2 hours. We're probably at about the breaking point here. Like Mole Man, for example. Yeah, Mole Man is pretty good for Torch. Oh my god. Sorry. My antivirus just popped up in the corner and now I can't see the chat window. Very annoyed by this. Hey, Dot. I understand, man. I don't have insomnia, but I have been staying up entirely too late to play video games lately. Um, since the backlash was so huge. See, that's the thing, Jackson, is everybody always says, "Oh, you can't do that because the backlash for this was bad and this will be worse." Like another thing I've heard is one thing that a lot of people are very fond of saying is, "Oh, the longer you wait to nerf Herc, the worse the backlash is going to be." But is it? Is it really? People went so nuts over Mole Man. How much worse can it really get? Especially when so many players, especially a lot of the smart ones, freely admit Hercules is completely busted. You would have to be incredibly insincere, or I'm going to say it, not particularly bright, to say with a straight face that nerfing Hercules did not make for a better game. If people leave the game, it's because they spent money on Hercules. He's not as broken as he was, and that makes them angry. There will be a number of people who do that. There would have been a number of people who did that if we had nerfed him 3 months after release. There would be a number of people who did that if we did it today. There would be a number of people who did that if we nerfed him 2 years from now after not having released him as a 7-star. I'm not really concerned about that number reaching critical mass, and I don't think it's gonna get all that much worse than it would right now. Nerf Herc, but nerf incursions? Eh. That's the thing. If Hercules is nerfed, if Kitty is nerfed, then maybe we take a look at incursions and go, you know what? Maybe some of these buff combos are too bad. Maybe we should like lock them out specifically. But the data doesn't show that right now because Herc and Kitty get through them just fine. That's the kind of thing that we would love to have. Yeah, I was here for 12.0, and it was huge. But that's the thing. It's so hard to do a counterfactual for 12.0 because the old wisdom is that 12.0 was the worst thing that ever happened to the game and 12.1 was the best, right? Like that's what we used to say. 12.0 with the massive nerfs, with the inability to parry without taking massive amounts of damage from Labyrinth characters. Like when diminishing returns and challenger rating affected block penetration as well as block proficiency, that was bad, right? But when 12.1 came around, when a couple of the nerfs were brought back a little bit, when those changes were made and suddenly diminishing returns made a bit more sense, that clearly set the foundation for the game to be what it is now. If we could skip the 12.0 and go straight from, I don't know what it was, 11.2 to 12.1, even with the backlash, I think it would be good for us. Yeah, there's that too, Coat. I'm not really bothered about getting the 6-star gem at the end of it. The rank formats are fine, but I'm not pushing through. Yeah, I agree, Easy. Anyway, let's open a crystal. Oops, do I have anything here? Just that. Alright, I'll claim that later. Perk is broken, but I like my easy AQ. I would like AQ to be attainable for everyone else. Stop. That's not really true, Aiden. There should have been more communication, but saying there was zero transparency doesn't really ring true for me. Alright, well, that is what it is. Alright, I'm gonna play some AQ, hit the bed. Yeah, wrong, Spidey. That's okay. Sorry to do this to you, Dot, but I have enough SIGs on my Sim Spidey, thank you. Yeah, I thought I pulled 4. I would give one to you if I could. I understand, Aiden. And they should have. But that's not the same thing as 0 heads up, right? It was discussed plenty of time before it happened. A lot of people depend on Herc to improve. No, they don't, Jackson. People depend on Herc to progress, not to improve. There's a very core difference there. I mean, a few weeks is still heads up, and there were rank down tickets, Aiden. I don't know. I have zero sympathy over the Mole Man thing. There should have been more communication, but I have no sympathy whatsoever for people reading that string and convincing themselves that that was the way he was supposed to work. So maybe I'm not the best person to talk about that. But I'm going to go to bed now. We don't have to rehash this. I have talked about Mole Man enough on my channel before. Exactly. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Adios.